Hello, I'm Jim Cathcart. I'm coming to you today from aboard a cruise ship in the East China Sea. Now, the reason I tell you that is because that's the truth. And if I was doing this, trying to appear that we were in some special studio in New York City or Beijing, then you saw me swaying at some point, you'd start thinking, wait a minute, something's wrong here. And there would be a little bit of tension between you and me because you'd be wondering, what's wrong? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I can tell something's not right. See, the way to be natural on stage, to be believable, to truly connect with your audience, is to simply relax, be yourself, tell the truth, acknowledge the reality of whatever's going on. People come up to me after speeches very, very often and they'll say, what I appreciated most about your speaking is your sincerity. And I asked them, what do you mean by that? And they said, well, you appeared to be telling us the truth. You seemed to actually believe what you were saying, and that's very refreshing. Because evidently a lot of speakers they had heard would just stand and deliver their message. So they were more of like an announcer on television or something than a person who was sharing ideas with them. Also, you notice I just crossed my arms. Well, I didn't think about that in advance. It just seemed comfortable, so I did it. And a lot of speech coaches will tell you, no, keep your arms comfortably at your side. Well, what if I'm not comfortable that way? What if this makes me more comfortable? Well, no, that puts a barrier between you and the audience. No, it doesn't. Unless I'm doing it like this, unless I'm doing it to project power or something. So how do you be natural on stage? Tell the truth. Be yourself. Be genuine. But don't be focused on you. Focus on them. See, the purpose of a speech is to help the people who are listening to the speech. It's not for you to deliver information. It's for them to get and use and benefit from the information. So if you want to be natural on stage, think about your audience, not about yourself. Don't get tied up in your mind over whether you're going to use a gesture or cross your arms or put your hands in your pockets. If what you're doing seems natural, it will help in your message. If it seems fake, seems like something you did because now is the time to do it, then people will stop believing you. So the main thing you want to do in a speech is connect with the audience and put them at ease and let your message get through to them. How do you be natural on stage? Don't fake it. How do you manage your own first impression, the impression you're giving to a group or to other people? See, as a speaker, you are bigger than life. You're up on the stage. You're in the spotlight. You're the center of attention. And the way people regard you matters a lot. So I should be intentional about the impression I'm giving to other people. Because the way I dress says something about who I am. The facial expression that I use tells them what kind of person I am. Whether I'm talking only about me or I'm taking an interest in them tells them who I am. So your first impression is where you form either a bond or a barrier between you and the audience. If you walk to the stage and in military fashion just stand there and start delivering your material, then maybe they'll respect the authority of what you're doing, but if you don't connect with them, they won't take it personally. They'll just hear it, maybe record it, then forget it later, right? How do you form first impressions? Well, if you're walking through a crowd of people and someone's walking directly toward you, first thing you do is instinctively, you assess them visually to see if they're a threat to you or if they're not. So if someone's walking aggressively toward you or someone has a weapon, then obviously you need to defend yourself. If they look angry and they're walking toward you, then they're a potential threat. Whether they're angry or not, if they look angry, you will assume they are angry. If they look like they're going to force their way through the crowd and push you out of the way, you'll assume that's the case. It may not be so, but the first impression is the one that you use to protect yourself. All people do this. It's a matter of natural instinct, okay? So what are the components of first impression? Well, first, it's almost all visual, but after the visual impression is formed, there's a sound impression as well. So if I come up and I'm looking friendly and happy and smiling at you, and I say, "Let me tell you what I'm here for," there's an inconsistency. Something's wrong. That forceful voice is not consistent with that pleasant face. So I need to be careful with this person, right? So just be aware of how you come across to other people. When you get dressed for a meeting with someone else, dress in the way that will create the right impression. When you give them a handshake, do not crush the bones of their hand to indicate how powerful you are. Do not hand them a limp, dead fish handshake that makes it unpleasant to even touch you. Give them a nice, firm handshake, look them in the eye, and smile. And when you hear their name, say their name back to them. "Hello, my name's David Chu." "David, nice to meet you, Mr. Chu." "Thank you." Right? So you repeat their name back to them, and you've created more of a bond between the two of you. The first impression is this person is interested in me. This person is not a threat to me. This person will be pleasing to deal with, right? So first impressions are lasting impressions. And the impression starts when you arrive at the meeting place. Not when you get on the stage. That's the second, third, fourth, or fifth impression. First impression, when you get out of the car. First impression, when you walk up to the room and you say, "Hello, I'm Jim Cathcart, I'm here for the meeting," right? Those impressions. When you meet the people at the registration desk outside of a meeting, be friendly and courteous toward them, because that's part of the first impression you're forming with that group. Plus, they deserve your respect. So you treat all people well, all those people will treat you well, and they will admire you for it. How should you dress for your speech? Well, that question is easily understood when you think, how should I dress for a dinner meeting? If you were going to a formal dinner event, like a wedding or a special ceremony, then you dress in a more formal way. If you were going to a casual dinner to watch a sporting event on television, you'd dress in jeans and maybe a t-shirt. You'd be comfortable. You dress in the way that's appropriate to the event and appropriate to your position at the event. For example, if you're the president of the organization, you should probably dress a little bit more formally than the people who are attending. Not a great deal more formally, but a little bit. For example, if they are dressed in a polo shirt and khaki pants or jeans, then maybe you should be in a polo shirt, if you're a man, and khaki jeans and a sport coat. Not a suit, not a tie, but just a little bit more formally dressed than they are. If everyone's in t-shirts and shorts and it's an outdoor event and you're going to give a speech at that outdoor event, dress like they do, except maybe not with shorts. Maybe you wear pants and the t-shirt and you stand on the platform, give your speech, and then when you're joining them on activities at the beach, then you put on your swim trunks or your shorts, okay? When I go to a speaking event, I'm going as a paid professional speaker. So as a paid professional speaker, the audience expects me to look different. Not to be dressed like them, but to be dressed a bit better than them. But if I dress like this for a casual event, then I'll stand out so much from the crowd that they'll feel separation from me. So if I was dressed like this and I found that everyone else was dressed more casually, let's say they just had on sports shirts and casual pants or dresses, then I might take the jacket off, or take off the tie and keep the jacket, or take off the tie and the jacket and roll my sleeves up to look more relaxed. So I don't have to go back and get different clothing. I can just change the way I'm dressed in this set of clothing, right? So how should you dress for an event? One guy said to me, he said, "I'm an accountant and I sell to farmers. and I dress like a farmer. I said, really? You dress like a farmer when you're calling on farmers? He said, yeah. And I said, why? Do you want them to think you're a farmer? He said, no, I want them to feel comfortable with me. I said, but they're not hiring a fellow farmer. They're hiring an accountant, someone to take care of their money. They don't want you to look like, feel like a farmer. They want you to look like, feel like, and dress like an accountant who takes care of farmers. So dress in business dress, but not formal business dress, casual business dress. He said, oh, that makes good sense. See, the thing, it's easy to think about how should you dress for an appearance if you just put it in the context of what would make them feel comfortable with me and still have a little extra respect for me as a subject expert. So dress appropriately to the event and dress in a way that makes them realize that you're there as their guest speaker, but never so much different that you stand apart from them and you feel a sense of separation.